Today I'm going to be talking to you about the Analects by Confucius. Now, I read this book a little bit ago now, but I enjoyed it very much and I thought it would be a good book to talk about with you guys. There's a quote on the back I like, and it says, "If a man sets his heart on benevolence, he will be free from evil." And that's a big concept in this book. Confucius talks a lot about benevolence in the gentleman and how benevolence is key and it'll free you from evil deeds and evil things and people. I had some quotes written down here from Confucius that I'll read. We have, "The important thing about the gentleman is the stuff he is made of. Move yourself to where righteousness is, then you will be exalting virtue. Never put off fulfillment of a promise to the next day." That last one I really like. It just goes back to that notion of just procrastination. And no one says they're never gonna do something. They say they're gonna do it tomorrow or the next day. They put it off for their future self. And when you do things like that, you never end up doing it. If you want to start doing something, you have to do it right here, right now, or you're just going to keep putting it off and you're never going to get around to it. I really like that one by Confucius. "When there is action to be taken, give of you your best." This is in a lot of things I've been reading lately, and I've really been trying to implement into my life. Just always doing your best, and always putting your best foot forward. Because if you always do your best, that is all you can control, and you can be happy with the outcome because you did your best, you tried your hardest. But if you leave stuff on the table, that is where regret is, and that is where what ifs and all these generate from, and that is just a recipe for sadness and depression and regret. If you always do your best, you gave it your all, then there's nothing to be sad about and nothing to regret. "Encourage the people to work hard by setting an example yourself." This kind of goes back to just, practice what you preach. No one likes the person who just preaches all these things but doesn't actually practice them. It's like the coach who's 300 pounds and he's telling you how you have to be disciplined and watch your diet and go for runs every day. It holds a lot more weight when someone who tells you that actually goes for runs every day, actually has a strict diet and watches what they eat. But if the person doesn't even practice what they preach, then you can't help but think, why don't you do that? So practice what you preach, I believe, always, or people aren't going to take your word for what it truly is. "Do not be impatient. Do not see only petty gains. If you are impatient, you will not reach your goal. If you see only petty gains, the great task will not be accomplished." Patience is a virtue. You need to be patient in life. You can't give in to every instant gratification. You have to have delayed gratification to accomplish big, great things. You can't just go after every small little prize and all these little instant gratifications. You need to have delayed gratification and go for big things that are hard and are going to take a long time. And this is where true fulfillment is, and where the best comes out of people. "The gentleman agrees with others without being an echo. The small man echoes without being in agreement." You don't always have to be the loudest person in the room. You don't always have to have the last word. That's what I get from this message from Confucius. "Do not utter a single word of complaint to the end of your days." I really like this one because this kind of goes back to Marcus Aurelius' quote where he says, "Never be caught complaining, not even to himself." And I think his mom actually told him that, told him never to complain, not even to yourself. And I just really like that because no one likes a person who complains all the time, and there's nothing good in complaining, you know. It is what it is, deal with it, and stop wasting time and energy complaining about it. Men of old studied to improve themselves. Men today study to impress others. You know, you need to focus on improving yourself, on the things internally, not on the external and impressing people around. You know, that's like the person who buys or rents like a Lamborghini for the day and posts a bunch of videos on Instagram of him and his Lamborghini. You know, that is only for show. That is not improving himself whatsoever. You know, that is strictly for show and clout, and that is honestly disgusting, and it just, no need for it. Honestly, it just makes people envious of him when in reality he's envious of everyone else, and envy is the saddest of the sins, I believe. The gentleman is ashamed of his word, outstripping his deed. You know, don't let your word overpower your deed, you know. Don't underperform. Overperform, you know. Say you're going to do this, but then do that. Don't say you're going to do this and then do that, essentially. You know, you want to overperform for people. Can you love anyone without making him work hard? Can you do your best for anyone without educating him? You know, that just goes back to tough love, I believe. You know, if you truly love someone, you'll be honest with them. You'll make them work hard, and you won't have them take the easy way out and shortcuts in life, because you know that is not good for them in the long run. You know, it might be good for them in the moment, but they're going to struggle a lot more in the long run. So if you truly love someone, you need to be hard on them. What the gentleman seeks, he seeks inside himself. What the small man seeks, he seeks in others. Not to mend one's ways when one has erred is to err indeed. I really like that one because it says not to change after you make a mistake is a mistake indeed. You know, it's human nature to make mistakes, and we're all going to do it, and it's just part of the game. But not to mend your ways when you're aware of a mistake you've made, that is truly the mistake. Not the mistake, but you not changing your ways, that is the mistake. The gentleman is devoted to principle, but not inflexible in small matters. You know, there's a time and a place for everything, and you need to have principles and high morals and high I can't think of the word, but high standards, but there's always exceptions, you know, little exceptions to these rules. And if it's a small matter, it's okay to be flexible, you know. You don't need to always be this stone who never flinches no matter what. To take pleasure in showing off is a dissolute life, and in food and drink is to lose. Do not take pleasure in showing off or in food and or drink. That is not a way to a fulfilling good life. These are not things meant for pleasure. Food and drink is meant for nourishment, to give you energy to live, not to get pleasure. Do not seek food for pleasure's sake. Don't seek to give your taste buds and gut pleasure. That is not what they're for. They're for nourishment and energy to pursue life. The days and the months slip by. Time is not on your side. I really like that one because it's so true. The days and the months slip by. Time is not on our side. So that's why you just need to have a sense of urgency in life and understand life's going by fast, and you need to hurry up, and you can't keep wasting all this time, or you're gonna look up one day and you're gonna be on your deathbed and you're gonna wonder where all the time went. The gentleman perfects his way through learning. When a small man makes a mistake, he is sure to gloss over it. When you make a mistake, you need to really think about that and reflect and mend your ways, as Confucius was saying. But he says here the small man just glosses over mistakes. They don't look into them at all. You know, there's something to be said for someone who understands mistakes are a way of life and doesn't get too hung up on them, but it's a whole nother thing to not even look at them at all and just not even care. He is full of praise for the good while taking pity on the backward. You know, you need to praise what is good in life, but don't bash what is bad. Just take pity that they don't know what is right and help them, or you have to put up with them. That's going to do it for quotes from this book, Analects by Confucius. I highly recommend you read it for yourself. It's a very good book on philosophy and has a very good introduction about Confucius and talks about how a lot of the culture of China came from Confucius and his teachings, and even now today they still practice a lot of things that Confucius implemented and talked about in this book. So I highly recommend you go read it. I recommend the Penguins Classic edition. But yeah, see y'all in the next one. Peace.